South Africa's parliament is set to review its rules relating to removing the country's president. This follows the Constitutional Court's ruling that lawmakers had previously failed to hold Jacob Zuma to account. In a statement, the National Assembly said that a parliamentary subcommittee will meet in the House this week to discuss a draft procedure on the section of the Constitution relating to the removal of a president. President Zuma has survived several no-confidence votes in Parliament over recent years, mostly relating to a string of corruption allegations. He denies any wrongdoing. Well, CGTN's Angelo Coppola is keeping tabs on that story for us. He's joining me now from Johannesburg. Angelo, so what changes can we expect from the review of parliamentary rules on the removal of the president?
Well, Beatrice, as it turns out, this isn't a new topic. In its call to members of the subcommittee, the chairman has given them documents which include a draft 2016 procedure that's never been adopted, and also a comparative study which was compiled in 2015 covering impeachment proceedings in 7 other parliaments across the world. Then, of course, there are going to be individual parties' demands. The UDM, for example, wants a direct election of the state president by the electorate, but it's unlikely that the ANC will go for that. It's also likely that the 2/3 majority voting requirement will come under scrutiny. Another possible change could be the inclusion of another reason or 2 for the removal of the president. At the moment, there are only 3 broad areas that can be applied to have the president removed, Beatrice. So it seems like it's touch and go. We're not sure which way this is going to go quite there.
Quite a raft of changes there being considered, Angelo. Are these changes likely to affect President Zuma's tenure, considering the many attempts that have been made against, amid all the numerous allegations against him on corruption charges?
Well, let's assume that the meeting takes place this week and only 2 days are needed to actually come up with a draft that the ruling party is happy with. You remember that they are the majority in the subcommittee, so they'll make the call. The draft procedure would then be sent to National Assembly for approval, and also bear in mind that Parliament only opens officially after the President's State of the Nation address, which is on the 8th of February. The draft changes would then have to be scheduled into the Parliament's order of business, debated and finally adopted by the majority. Now, considering that the ANC is still a majority party in the National Assembly, the vote on the procedure may follow party lines. So lots riding on the MPs there. Unless, of course, it's a secret ballot, which could then make voting rather interesting. So the next couple of weeks and possibly months are going to be interesting constitutionally, Beatrice.
Right, Angelo, the ANC is now under a new leadership as from December of 2017. Would you expect significant support from within the leadership and the party on any bid to remove President Zuma from office before the next elections?
Well, that's the billion-dollar question that everyone's asking right now. We know from the composition of Ramaphosa's senior team that he didn't get his first-choice people to surround him at the elective conference. So in terms of support, it's unclear how much support Ramaphosa has from the ANC leadership. And then there's no indication what kind of support there would be for that recall for Mr. Zuma. The lack of clear support probably means that there's going to be a serious amount of lobbying before any vote in the party takes place, even if it gets to that point. So we're not sure what's going to be happening there. So there's lots of noise around the recall. There's lots of speculation that Zuma will be gone sooner rather than later, but it remains speculation or perhaps wishful thinking from the opposition political parties. Will it happen as early as this Tuesday? Who knows? This is politics, of course, and stranger things have happened. Beatrice?
Right, Angelo Coppola keeping tabs on the South African political scene there, joining us from Johannesburg.